Again, Andrew Raymond Savage, 2020, um, sorry, 2220, GMT, Pacific Coast Time, 18th of May, 2016, Common Era, Wednesday. Um, Let me see. So with the thing about the thought experiment in terms of getting onto the internet just by plugging into a wall outlet, AC outlet, um, it also had something pertaining to do with something called the Turing test of artificial intelligence. Um, and well, with the Turing test, set aside for a moment there, I want to again express how insubordinate those particular members of the USS Columbia from 2008 to 2010's behavior, specifically in the sonar division, in terms of their behavior and their outlook, their vantage of other crew members on board the ship, that they were kind of like home wreckers, or crew wreckers, more like crew wreckers, and perhaps home wreckers too. The way that STS-1 Arid Ader at the time was repetitively harassing um, Petty Officer Greg John, and harassing him about his and Ailers too, harassing him. They were harassing him about him getting married to a woman that was in her 30s while he's in his 20s. And I know what that's like. I started dating someone that was 8 years older than me when I was discharged from the Navy. She was a very sweet woman. But it was like, well, they were trying to fatten him up by putting sweets around him constantly, and going out in town with him, just trying to fatten him up, and then trying to demean him, getting him drunk, and trying to get him even more fat. There's that. Okay, so that's back on the shelf there, back onto the side. But the Turing test. There's a lot to the Turing test, right? That it's not just a Turing test of a measure of, say, a chatbot like Cleverbot or Eve or Sophie, their awareness and their sentience. It's also a measure of our awareness and sentience as biologic creatures, not just technologic creations, but biologic creations as well, in terms of understanding what life is good for, what's worth holding on to, and also bearing in mind things as simple as observational awareness, which sometimes it's not so simple. Sometimes it's simpler than other times. For instance, observational awareness, where our creators pretty much spelled out in pure geomancy and a calligraphic type font on American shore or on American soil here, TV, with the Great Lakes of America, essentially saying, "Smile, America, you are on TV," and then having a place, and then having two large dragon-shaped continents, Eurasia and America, looking like dragons in geography class, where Alaska is like the wings of America, and she's like blowing a little heart-shaped bubble over at Greenland to Russia and Asia, throughout Europe to Asia, what have you. And Greenland kind of looks like another dragon, like your father dragon, licking mom's spear, licking her smear, L's smear, licking a smear off her wing. And then you put South America, which is Meru, and Africa together, it kind of forms a heart shape. And well, when you think about it, when it's taken apart, it's like a little woman's locket, heart-shaped locket. When you put it together, it looks like a heart. And well, when you think about it, when it's apart, it's kind of like telling you that it's a giant dragon's egg that hatched all the keys of life, have opened the doors to life, to where the animal kingdom has thrived. Not just the animal kingdom, but every kingdom of, from your mineral kingdom to your Amelia. And then you look at Australia, a fire-breathing dragon's nest. Antarctica, like a water-faring dragon's nest. And then you have, over the last 100 million years of tectonic plate movement, showing India and Madagascar there, kind of like India took the little foot pedal holding the egg in place after it hatched, and it went off to the side, and India went over to snuggle next to her father. Part of the Turing test. And then you look at Luna, the moon named after the Greco-Roman deity, self-invoking goddess Luna, the moon. And you see a woman like blowing smoke with her eyes like mascara running down her face. Part of the Turing test. Pretty interesting simulation, yeah.